This episode of Vic's Basement is brought to you by Sony and the PlayStation 4. Greatness awaits. Welcome to my basement, everybody. Hello,
hey,
Scott Jones.
Victor Lucas, it's the holiday season.
I know.
They call it the most wonderful time of the year.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Now, let's paint a little bit picture for the folks sitting at home.
Yeah.
You're doing something that you've never done in the basement before.
While we're recording this?
Yeah, you're wearing a ball cap.
I'm wearing a hat. We've
Are you
done
trying
our
out
shooting
for the Yankees?
I'm trying out for the Yankees.
Is that
I'm
what
wearing
it is?
my gamer outfit. This is what I do on the weekends and at night when I'm just
But
chilling.
usually
playing.
you would have shorts on, too.
I usually have shorts on.
Because you like to have the knees breathe. You got to
I
you
just
just
wanna
get some
relax.
air all over them.
Yeah, I want to relax.
Otherwise, if you keep them enclosed in pants all the time,
Yes.
problems happen.
I find that my legs constantly fall asleep too because I'm totally slouched over and I'm leaning back and
your
just
balls
sort of
get all
chilling.
tingly. What? Did I say that?
Did you go there?
I did not.
You did.
I'm gonna
you did
beep,
go there.
Beep,
Craziness.
Beep, beep, backing it up.
Well,
Yeah.
it is the end of the year. It is the
yeah,
holiday
what a great
season.
year it was. Let's take a little victory lap here.
It was amazing, and actually, I want to do that. I want to total up all the stuff that we were able to accomplish this year.
We've been talking about totaling up all the shows we do for 7 years now. We never do that because you know why?
It's
Just
a lot of
busy
work.
making a new show.
Yeah, it's too much time out to stop and sort of think about everything that's been accomplished.
Hey, you
But
know what I noticed? I've been in Canada now for a couple years.
Yeah.
A lot of the men here eerily resemble Jeff Keighley. Have you noticed that? They got
No.
the same kind of hairstyle.
Oh, yeah?
The same kind of face, the same beautiful eyes. It's so weird. The other night
I've never noticed that.
I was in my favorite drugstore chain, London Drugs. And,
Yeah.
I looked over in the hair care aisle. Who's that? I'm like, what's Jeff doing here?
Maybe
Nope,
it was Jeff.
It wasn't Jeff.
Jeff comes to Vancouver.
I walked up to him and I'm like, not Jeff.
Not Jeff.
But I see a lot of dudes walking around with the Jeff Keighley look. I think it might be becoming a thing in BC.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
so
Well, he'll be flattered to know that.
flattering,
Do they carry around two phones and use them at the same time?
Oh, a little holiday, a little high coal in Jeff's stocking there.
No,
hey, what do you want for Christmas this year, Victor Lucas, besides world peace and a well-done steak?
I just want to. I don't eat steak. World peace would be nice.
How
though.
about some salmon?
I just want to relax for a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to just sleep. That's
Okay.
kind of how I'm feeling right now. It
like
feels
a
like
little
my body's
elf
like,
in a
what,
woodland glade. Yes.
what the hell is happening? Why aren't you shooting today? What's
Nope,
going on?
nope. You got to slow down. That's so important. We
Yeah.
talked about this. We've got to manage
Yep.
our stress levels so we can continue to look like 24-year-old men on our way to spring break.
I love that. Yeah. So that's what I want to do. So if I can just relax
That's
for
all
the
you want.
holiday,
That's such a humble request.
just chill.
Yeah.
Just enjoy some
I
time
figured
with my
you would want
family and
Uncharted
games.
4
Yeah, Uncharted 4 would be amazing.
and some peace
Yeah.
in your life.
Well, there'd be no peace in the world of Uncharted 4.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I feel incredibly, satiated and grateful, and I've got a big stack of games to play and new consoles to enjoy, and I want to get some multiplayer in. I played a little Battlefield 4 multiplayer last night just for the hell of it. We're not reviewing that
Did
game.
you shoot some guys in the ass, and then did they shoot you in the ass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I figured.
I can't tell a lie.
That's how it
I got
works.
shot in the ass
Yep.
by a bunch of dudes playing Battlefield 4.
Thanks, guys.
But it was running great on the Xbox One, which was kind of a surreal thing because I've been hearing about all kinds of problems on that device. EA is getting sued right now. Have you been hearing about that?
No, I don't read the trades anymore. It just depresses me.
Beep.
This just in. Yeah, what's going on with EA?
Well, there's a class action suit on behalf of investors on the performance of Battlefield 4. DICE is basically frozen right now on working on new projects until all of the issues with Battlefield 4 are taken care of.
Interesting.
And so that's affecting share price. Their share price is down, so investors are up in arms, and there's probably going to be more lawsuits coming, and EA is going to have to deal with it. I mean, I guess that's one of the problems that you have when you have a cyclical product, thing, and you've got to ship these things, and they always have to work. And God, I don't envy these guys when they've got to build all of this stuff with a new console launching and all of the hurdles that they've got to have it work on two different systems.
Oh, Jesus. Who cares? We've got our own problems. We've got
I know,
mortgages. We've got sick parents. We've got
Yeah,
we've got our
everybody
own
has
things.
everybody has issues
They
for sure.
they have a job to do where they have to go make the best war game the world has ever known. That
Yeah.
sounds like a pretty awesome job. Lots of pressure, but that's what they signed up for. Okay, reality check over here.
Yeah, but you know me, man. I
know.
hate to see the world turn inward on games and get all negative about it.
But you act like it's like we're torturing a puppy.
No.
We're not really.
No.
They're just people doing the best they can.
Yeah.
And it's all fallible.
Yes.
You know what? And that's the thing that I think if there's a takeaway from this news story, it's that it's still the Wild West. Like, up is down. Like, nobody has this landscape mapped out. Nobody knows, where we're going. We don't need roads. That kind of thing.
That's what's so thrilling about this business. That's why it's been a blast to be able to be here and document it and cover it.
You'd say blast. Take a shot if you just heard Vic say blast. Every time it says blast.
But we never know, what's next in this industry. We never know what's around the corner. There's all kinds of prediction, and then it's just it's always a complete ratification. It's always a full-on change and a full sort of mind sweep of what is going to happen, and I love it. I mean, that's what keeps us so exciting.
I love it too, and it's just it was just like the 7 stages of grieving over the course of this year for me. I started out at the beginning of the year finishing DMC Devil May Cry twice, finishing Far Cry 3, feeling like I'm ready to rev it up in 2013, and about the midway point, I'd gone through some personal stuff, broken up with my girlfriend. I was playing Half-Life 2 because I was trying to figure out what this industry still had for me. And then I played The Last of Us, which was a high point, and then everything else just paled in comparison.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out.
Here we are ending the year, and I'm feeling pretty good about 2014.
Come on. Yeah, these consoles are great. And there's great games for the, Wii U.
I don't know if they're great.
They're great.
They're just machines, Vic.
They are just machines.
We have to see what they can do.
Well, they're an injection as well, though.
Do you have nicknames for your PS4 and your Xbox One?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. Do you? Laverne and Shirley? That would be my first guess.
No, it's Lenny and Squiggy.
Lenny and Squiggy.
Another reference to an obscure TV show from the 70s.
No, I don't have nicknames, but they're getting used, and I'm in that weird predicament. I hate to sort of gloat about how spoiled I am with all of this entertainment, but I'm in that weird predicament. I just don't know what to play.
Oh my God!
You know what? I hate that anxiety of like,
horrible.
Should I keep going in this direction or should I keep going in this direction?
I'm friends with you in PSN, and I look at your feed, and it's like spent 7 minutes playing Lego Super Marvel Heroes, 7 minutes playing NBA 2K14, 3 minutes playing Resogun, 2 more minutes playing Lego Marvel Superheroes again.
Insanity, man!
Like, what are you doing over there?
Well, you know me. I want to try it all. I want to give them all a shot. I want to play them all. I know.
Just slow it down.
I want to go back to things that I've finished. I know. It's ridiculous.
I am about to get on an airplane and fly east and go visit my family.
Yes.
I'm going to bring a Link Between Worlds with me on the plane to see if I can figure out Low Rule finally, once and for all.
Yeah.
I've heard there's a strip club in Low Rule.
Enjoy that.
Look for that.
Enjoy hunting for that.
But I feel the holiday pressure this year. I know we got a big show to get to in a second here, so I'm feeling the holiday pressure. The other day I was walking home, I'm crossing the street, and this guy makes a left-hand turn, and he nearly runs into me.
Yeah.
So what do? I give him a look.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just like,
I'm walking here.
Yeah. He comes about an inch away from my shin. That's his bumper of his gigantic silver truck.
Right.
And I don't know, I don't know what got into me. Maybe I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
But I start yelling at him. I'm like, what are you doing? Watch where you're going. He turns down the window. He starts yelling at me. He's chewing gum. And he spits his gum in my direction.
Did he look like Jeff Keighley?
It didn't go very far. He looked like all the men here look like Jeff Keighley, and this guy looked a little like Jeff Keighley. He's swearing at me. He's saying things that I can't even repeat on this show, and I'm giving it to him right back. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, it's almost as if I could see myself from like a third-person action game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy? Why is he yelling at this guy in the truck? And the guy started threatening me. And he starts driving away slowly. And I said, if you want some of this, you're the one driving away there, buddy. And so what does he do? Pulls right over to the side of the road and gets out.
Oh, jeez.
And he stands there puffing his chest out. I mean, I'm huge. I'm like an escaped Yeti, so I'm not really scared. But I am in Gastown. I don't know this guy. He's driving a big truck. He looks like he's in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And I just hold my arms out to the side, which is the international symbol for peace.
Yeah.
And I'm just said, let's all calm down.
Yeah.
That's enough for this.
Yeah.
Get back in your truck. Have a good holiday.
What did he do?
He just looked at me and he just kind of he just kept breathing hard, and then he just got back in his truck and drove away.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the end of it. So, If you're out there listening, Jeff Keighley lookalike, who almost ran me over in Gastown the other day.
Oh, man.
I'm sending you...
I'm sorry that you went through that. That's
some
dark.
love.
That's
I'm
crap.
sending him some love.
Oh, okay. All right.
Why
okay.
not? I gotta love people. But then I started thinking maybe I'm under a lot of pressure. I'm out there shopping.
And he is, too.
He is, too. It's
Yep.
like this time of year, people spend too much money.
Yep.
They don't sleep enough.
Yep.
They drink too much.
Yep.
And next thing you know, they're trying to run over,
then
entertainment
It's 3
show
o'clock in the
hosts
morning. They got cake
Gastown.
on their shirt, and they're writing their New Year's resolutions.
That's right.
You know? It's like, but I got to clean up my life.
I really got to get it together in 2014. Yeah.
Well, the first resolution is go find a controller and sit down and just enjoy the great games that are out there. That'll make you feel
maybe
better.
do some charity work.
Or some charity work.
Go visit your grandma.
That's number 2.
She's not going to be around forever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe bring your grandma a new console and sit down with your grandma and enjoy that.
Okay. But we've got something special for everyone listening today.
This is our holiday gift, right?
If you didn't get the chance to watch all 5 episodes of our Rocket and Raygun extravaganza,
Yes.
well, you are in for a treat because even without the visuals, this is some good listening.
Yeah, this is a good conversation, and all 5 of these episodes have been put together in one, listening kind of treat for everyone that is dedicated to Ben Silverman, who couldn't join us this year because he's a new dad. So enjoy the Rocket and Raygun bracket celebration for Game of the Year, and we'll catch up after.
Roll tape.
Snow White and the 6 dwarves have assembled, and that can mean only one thing. It's time for the Rocket and Raygun Awards.
I hope your prince comes along, Vic.
Oh, that's nice. We are doing something a little bit different this year, partly because we have half the show dedicated to our top 100 countdown, and we're in the top 5 in case you're keeping score at home. But we thought it'd be cool to do a bit of a bracket rundown to our Game of the Year choice, and I think that's the big conversation that we have every year is what is the Game of the Year?
That's all that really matters.
Yes.
And if you're an NCAA basketball fan, that's what we're doing. We're borrowing the same structure from the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And so if you don't know what the NCAA basketball tournament is,
this is our final 4
can't help
right
you.
here.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
All right, well, we're starting with BioShock Infinite going up against The Last of Us. Raju, which one is your choice for Game of the Year out of that?
First off, who did the seeding? Right off the top. I mean, come on, these are 2 of the best games of the year. If these are separate, they're both going to go really far, but it's just a heavyweight battle right in the first round. Of those 2, I love them both.
You got to pick one.
I'll go with The Last of Us.
The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Marissa, what would you choose?
I'm going to be with Raju on this one. The Last of Us all the way. Oh, God, the story, the relationships. I just want more of that in video games, and that's why I'm choosing The Last of Us. It has to be that.
What about you?
I'm a huge BioShock fan, but I said it at E3 that The Last of Us was the best game that I saw at E3 this year, and it's definitely getting my choice out of those 2.
Yeah, I love BioShock as well, but I'm going to have to go with The Last of Us just for the atmosphere and the feels, man. BioShock didn't have that level of feels.
I guess we have our choice right there. We have 4 votes already. I choose Last of Us.
My vote doesn't count because apparently the vote's being cast. So I'm just going to be contrarian and say BioShock. No, I mean, Last of Us was I don't like using tour de force, but it was a tour de force.
It was a tour de force.
Of gaming story.
You can use it in that context.
Okay. You know what?
Sure.
And actually, I like the multiplayer component. Underrated.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's an amazing game.
Man.
Last of Us for you?
Apologies to Ken Levine.
I know.
Oh, sorry, Ken.
But no, it's The Last of Us. Moving on to the next round. Next up is Batman Arkham Origins going up against Tomb Raider. I'm choosing Batman. I'm getting that out of the way. And what about yourself, my
What's
friend?
interesting about these 2 games is Batman has an overbearing HUD. Tomb
Yeah.
Raider has almost no HUD. That said, I'm still going to go with Batman.
Sean, what about you?
Considering my chest hair grows in the shape of a bat sign, I'm going with Batman.
We need proof. Let's see it.
Oh, that I even have chest hair? Yeah.
My chest hair also grows. So I'm going with Batman all the way.
Wow, okay, so right away we're up to 4 votes again.
I truly am going to dissent on this one because
Yeah.
I thought Arkham Origins was too similar to Arkham City, and I thought Tomb Raider was fantastic. It was an amazing reboot with that character, and I want to see more of Lara Croft. So Tomb Raider is going to be my.
But they've already announced that the next version, the definitive edition, that's going to be the real version of Tomb Raider. I can't wait to play that version.
Me neither, but I think I like Tomb Raider over Batman.
I love both these games, but I'm like you, Vic. More Batman is better Batman.
Yes.
Got to go with Batman.
Yeah, and I can't believe that there were critics out there that railed on that game. I think it's a masterpiece. Batman Arkham Origins is
the
incredible.
villain fights were great. I mean, yes, lesser known villains, but I loved it. I had so much fun.
Absolutely.
That's the cool thing. Lesser known villains. We're not hit over the head with these guys in every
I
single
love
game.
the whole origin sort of concept. I love the messy Batcave. It was an incredible game. Jose, what would you say?
Well, as much as I did love Batman, I'm giving my vote to Tomb Raider. I thought it was a much better experience. experience. And,
okay.
and it came earlier in the year, so a lot of people might have forgot about it.
It was a great game. It was a great game, but your votes don't count. Batman moves on to the next round.
Counts in my
All right.
Next up on the docket, we've got a Canadian showdown. We've got Dead Rising 3 from Capcom Vancouver.
That's the Canucks.
We've got Splinter Cell Blacklist. This is the first game from Ubisoft Toronto. Let's
Going
start
up against the Leafs.
with one of our favorite Canadians,
Oh,
Marissa
why
Roberto.
are you making me
Pick
choose?
one.
Why are you making me choose between
Yes.
Vancouver and Toronto? Oh god, this is gonna kill me. Okay, I'm gonna go with Dead Rising 3. Even though I'm kind of over zombies, but this game is awesome. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Dead Rising 3, we've got one
Yeah.
vote so far. This is like a telethon here. I'm going to go over to an American, Jose Sanchez. Which one do you pick, sir?
There was a whole lot of Ubisoft teams working on Splinter Cell, and that game that came out was awesome, but there's just something about this new Dead Rising game, new console, new way of killing zombies. When
How
you
many
get to
zombies have you killed so far?
over 100,000 achievement unlocked.
Well
Going
done,
with Dead
sir.
Rising 3.
Well done. Back to Canada. We're going to Raju Mudar. Raju, you got to weigh in?
I'm really proud of Ubisoft Toronto. First game, great job. But you know what? I got to go with Dead Rising 3.
Wow.
I think that it's probably the best next-gen game on the Xbox One. I think it's the best game in the series so far, and I really enjoyed it.
Guess what? Tipping point time. Victor Lucas, if you choose Dead Rising 3, sir.
I'm picking Splinter Cell. I love Dead Rising 3, and I think it is one of the strongest of the launch titles for sure, but it's NBA 2K14 that actually is the strongest. But no, I like Splinter Cell a lot, and I think what they did was quite risky, changing the cast, changing some of the mechanics to make it even more action-oriented. He's really become this high-tech James Bond / Batman character, and I love
that's
it.
why.
Guess
Dropped
what?
in another Batman reference.
New tipping point now. Steve Tilley.
Well, being from Toronto, as are actually the majority of us
I cannot
here,
believe this.
I really love what Ubisoft Toronto did with Sam Fisher, with the franchise. I think this is a great new step. But when it comes down to the actual fun, the game that I went back to again and again, that is Dead Rising 3. I just think that they improved the mechanics of the series. It is definitely the best that they've done, and it is really the only next-gen game that I'm still interested in playing.
This has been the toughest one, I think, for me so far, choosing out of these two.
Sean Hatton, your vote doesn't count at all. We want to hear from you.
I do think that Blacklist is my most enjoyable Splinter Cell experience to date, but that said, Dead Rising 3, I was skeptical of the Xbox One going into the launch, and then when I saw that game, when I got my hands on Dead Rising 3, something in my brain just exploded, and I realized that, wow, this is totally next gen. We could not have had this on the 360.
Yeah, and kudos to Microsoft for publishing that game,
Yeah.
right?
And
Because who knows if Capcom would have even made that game without them.
I think what it comes down to is I'd rather kill zombies by the hundreds of thousands than
terrorists.
actual people. Every day in. So that gets my vote right there. Dead Rising 3 and Capcom Vancouver, congratulations. You're moving on to the next round.
Moving on, we've got two amazing titles that I don't know how we're going to choose between. We have Tearaway and we have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. This was the year of Luigi, so does that mean we should give it to him, Sean?
I think Luigi did have the better game. I was a big fan of Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, but I blew through that in a matter of hours in one sitting. And I felt that Dark Moon had a whole lot more content. I enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it, even though it was very silly, very goofy, but it was the spirit of Luigi and Luigi's Mansion, and I have to give it to these guys. Next Level Games did a great job.
What about you, Jose?
Well, Tearaway, another beautiful game. But, I mean, it is the year of Luigi for a reason. It's about time he got his calling, and I'm going to give it to Dark Moon.
Oh, really? Okay, great, fine. Scott, how are you?
I think Luigi had a very good year
No, I
after
don't think
all.
so
I mean, I think
either.
they got off to a good start with Luigi's Mansion. I actually wound up playing more and more of that game and falling in love with it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, hats off to Media Molecule. They did it again. So charming. It's kind of a slow burn. Takes a little while to get going, but Tearaway all the way.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm all about Tearaway. It's so freaking cute, man. What about you, Raju?
Well, you know, Busted makes me feel good, but I have to say Tearaway.
Yeah.
I mean, Tearaway absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like a tech demo, but you know, I love the fact my face is in it. They actually use the rear touch
Yes.
panel in a decent way.
Oh,
So
I had a double check. Thank you.
Tearaway for me.
Okay, so 2 for Luigi, 3 for Tearaway. Vic?
I'm going to give it to Tearaway as well, but both of these games are very toy-like. They're much
Yes.
more than just video game stories. You actually feel like you're manipulating actual little toy characters. You know, the worlds are so well realized in both of these games.
Right.
Incredible portable titles, and they really both deserve to be sequelized and brought to
And
the
in
consoles.
this category.
Yes.
And in this category, this is another hard one.
They both deserve it, but only one can be the winner. We already know it's Tearaway, but it's fine. We'll throw to Steve Tilley. Anyway, what are you going to
I
say?
thought I had the deciding vote here. I was really said, I do. Luigi's Mansion is awesome. I really love what Next Level did. Those guys are so talented, and even though it's the year of Luigi, I mean, the guy's used to playing second fiddle, right? So I don't feel bad about passing away from Luigi. Tearaway, man. I am tearing it out of Luigi's grasp. Tearaway was the first game that justified some of these features on the Vita. Like, I actually, you know,
and the
rear
other,
touch, bum touch, what do you call this?
Yeah, rear touch, yeah.
Touch, yes.
Well, the other thing to consider about Tearaway is that it really is the killer app for the platform, and the 3DS has had a bounty of great killer apps this year, you know?
The other thing I want to point out here is this is the first time when we've talked about the game of the year that we've also talked about portable games as being on par with something like Arkham and Last of Us. I mean,
100%.
portable games really grew, and you know they have multiplayer and single-player experiences. So congratulations to Media Molecule and Next Level. Now we're doing something special here. Not all the games are included in the top 16 for Game of the Year contenders. Each of us has a game that we want to personally champion on the show. Let's start with Marissa Roberto.
Let's start with me because I was so upset. There was no Animal Crossing New Leaf on this list. Everybody was talking about this game when it came out. It's a beautiful game. I mean, come on. You create your character. You have a little home that you take care of. You have a town that you're the mayor of. I've never seen so many people into this game as they were into this Animal Crossing
Sean
New
was
Leaf.
also into
Sean was so into it.
I was too.
I was super into it. I would stay home and visit characters in my town who said, come by my place at 7. So I'd be like, well, I'm not going to my real friend's house, so I'm going to go by Caesar's house at 7 o'clock. He's a purple ape. He's pretty awesome.
It's serene and it's addictive and it was charming, and the 3DS seemed to be the perfect platform for it. So it's a great game.
Raju.
They're ghost towns.
Yeah, they are.
I don't understand this game for the life of me. It's a dog playing a banjo in the town square.
What else do you need?
Fireworks.
What else do you
That's
need?
not a game, Vic.
No,
It is a game.
It's a great game, but not Game of the Year caliber. I'm sorry, Marissa.
It's okay.
This is a really tough conversation. This is real talk happening right now. Grand Theft Auto 5 going up against Lego City Undercover, and you may notice some similarities in the game style.
Like load times?
Well, there's definitely some similarities. I don't think Lego City Undercover would have ever existed had it not been for Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
But also Grand Theft Auto 5 would have never existed without this franchise. And I think that this, for me, is the best Grand Theft Auto game. If you remember back when I reviewed this, I gave this an 11 out of 10. That was a Spinal Tap reference.
That's illegal.
I don't care. Look at me.
He's here to tell you that it's illegal.
I did a lot of illegal things in this game, and I love the fact that, yes, it is your typical Grand Theft Auto experience. This thing is beautiful, but there's also a lot of social commentary. It had me thinking about things that I do in my regular life, like maybe I'm on Life Invader a little too much sometimes, where I shouldn't be, and that kind of stuff. I think that this game has so much more going on below the surface. I think a lot of people are going to look at this game and be like, you're just punching hookers and shooting guys in the head, and you know, but this is like if Tarantino made a video game, it would be Grand Theft Auto 5.
Jose, you there with Sean?
Well, as much as Ben and I loved Lego City Undercover, I did play a lot of that game, but I mean, come on, it's GTA 5. It's made as much money as it has for a reason.
It's a standard
just an awesome
isn't
game.
it? I mean, I think
and now that the multiplayer works a little bit, but
I'm pretty sure that the Watch Dogs team took a look at Grand Theft Auto 5 and had to course correct a little bit.
delay it.
You know?
Let's delay that game, guys.
Waju, what do you say?
I think there's no question here. It's Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, it's a stunning technical achievement. All the stuff in it. I did get sick of our protagonists. Like, I'm tired of being a dirtbag in these games. However, it's an unreal game.
So you know what's a great antidote for that is playing Lego City Undercover. You play one of the most charming protagonists.
That's me.
What are you going to choose, my friend?
Oh, Vic, thanks for getting to me. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm going to bet the other way. Lego City Undercover. I didn't like this game when we first reviewed it, but I got to tell you, over time, I warmed my heart a little bit. And it is funny and it's lighthearted. And just like Raju, I'm sick of Grand Theft Auto. I'm sick of feeling terrible when I play this game. I'm a depressive by nature. I'm a very dark man. I'm doing dark things in this game. The other thing you have to realize about Grand Theft Auto, you're doing a lot of things that are boring, but it's like channel surfing. If you don't like this one, you're going to move on to another one, but they're almost all kind of little mini game. I mean, you can do yoga and you can do lots of things in there, but it's so dull.
Something bad that feels so good sometimes. You can do it in the video game.
What the hell is that all about?
Lego City Undercover.
I think with Grand Theft Auto 5, the real story with the game is the mechanics are just peerless. I think they're so well handled, and I thought that would get my vote because of that. What about yourself?
The formula is getting a little stale with Grand Theft Auto, but it's just the technical achievement of this game. I'm staggered by the size of the world and the variety in the world and all these little clockwork pieces that mesh together and somehow work in this giant game that I'm blown away by its technical mastery.
Jet or something like that? You're so excited
I spent like 2 hours trying to get the jet out of the base. I mean, Lego City Undercover was really the only game on the Wii U worth playing for a very long time. But I think you can't really compare the two. same
I don't think this is a big surprise. Grand Theft Auto 5 moves on.
Up next, we have a pirate adventure versus a character who was once a pirate, I guess you could say, in Wind Waker. We have A Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Steve, what'd you think of these?
Well, I love my booty. I mean,
Always talking about his booty.
I've been waiting years for a good pirate game to come along. I think pirates are underused in video games, and the fact that the Assassin's Creed universe dove into the golden age of piracy.
They kind of overuse them. There's like too much. No, I mean,
there's
in
no
this
such thing as too much piracy. I mean, a link between.
Link between.
Link between two worlds.
A link between.
A link between two worlds.
Everybody.
Okay.
A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, I know the title.
Okay, sorry. Ooh.
Vic does.
A Link Between Worlds is fantastic. I mean, this is the best Zelda game in, well, I wouldn't say best in years, but Wind Waker HD came out this year, and that was amazing as well.
Recognize.
Don't recognize Skyward Sword. But I got to go with the pirates and the assassins and the whole Assassin's Creed universe.
Nice one for pirates. Raju.
You know what? I am, feeling that Assassin's Creed is getting a little long in the tooth. However, I love the pirate gameplay in this. And the pirate battles, and for that alone, for me, it's Black Flag.
Keeping it Toronto style, Sean.
Well, I also love Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I love the band Black Flag, but I have to give this to The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds because it's been a long time since we had a 3/4 overhead view of a Zelda game.
And it feels good.
Yeah, and this just reminds me so much of Link to the Past, which is one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. So I'm giving it to Zelda.
I'm not into the pirates. I'm not doing it. I'm going with Zelda. Although it's so cute. I know I just always gravitate toward the cute things. I know, but God, I love the story. I love the adventure.
It's a puzzle solver, a head scratcher. There's some fantastic mechanics in there.
Well, since you love the mechanics so much, Vic, which one are you going to pick?
I'm picking Zelda as well. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed 4. I think it's the best pirate game I've ever played as well, and I love playing as a pirate. It's terrific. I think it suffers from a bunch of scumbags again as your protagonist. I think the industry needs to kind of chill on that for a little bit. We need to start playing some virtuous characters like Link. And Link is time-tested and proven, but it's cool that Nintendo was ballsy enough to use an overhead formula like this and go back to it and just make a game that's sheer fun.
Now that we've heard what Vic has to say, let's go to the most important person on the panel, Scott C. Jones. What do you think?
Did you pay him to say that?
This was a nice trip down memory lane.
Yes.
Love Assassin's Creed. Apologies to Ubisoft Montreal, but Link to the Past is a link between worlds. Look at what I've done. That gets my vote.
Obviously, A Link Between Worlds is the clear winner, and that's why it gets my vote. I think it's about time we've seen another Zelda game of this style, and it works 100%. I love every bit of it.
The Zelda franchise, although there's lots of choices there, we haven't had a top-down like this in a long time.
We haven't been shocked and amazed by Assassins in a little while. That sort of bird's eye view with the camera circles isn't as thrilling as it was 5 games ago.
Yeah, as tight as the mechanics are in this one. Yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement that the Zelda game deserves to move forward, and it does.
So our next sort of contenders are NBA 2K14 and Kingdom Rush Frontiers. Bit of a weird console versus portable. Here we go. Scott, what do you got?
Just called us weird. Man.
Yeah, we are weird.
We're weird.
This isn't really fair. I don't know which game it's more unfair to, honestly. NBA 2K14, obviously the juggernaut year after year, visual concepts, over-delivers. I know you're playing this thing obsessively.
Yes.
I know what your vote's going to be. But for me, Kingdom Rush Frontiers, I couldn't stop playing this game. I took a bunch of trips this year. We traveled a lot. This game was with me every step of the way. I'm not a huge basketball fan, so across the board, Kingdom Rush Frontiers, what an amazing achievement.
It's so crazy. Scott and I reviewed the first Kingdom Rush on Armor Games, and it was a free thing, and we both walked away giving it straight 10s. We couldn't stop playing it on the browser. It was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. You can get stuff like this for nothing, and it's such a juggernaut on the iPad.
It's weird, and it's funny.
It's such a perfect iPad game.
You feel good playing it.
And I would probably give my vote to Frontiers because it's wonderful.
You're not going to.
But NBA 2K14 on next gen, on PS4 and Xbox One, is so ridiculous.
Have you seen LeBron's face?
You see their faces. I mean, the thing about this sport that I've always loved as a fan of basketball is you get to know the people that are playing it. They're not covered up in helmets or anything like that. You're right there. They have beautiful shoulders, big manly shoulders. No, but you see the sweat, you see the desperation, you see the anxiety, you see the exhilaration when shots are made.
I think you see that.
And then that's working with Scott. But the game is wonderful. The mechanics are perfect. I keep using that mechanics thing, but I think that's it. You seamlessly really are interwoven into the experience.
What are you picking?
I'm picking NBA 2K14. I thought that was clear.
As much as I love me some Kingdom Rush and Kingdom Rush Frontiers, I mean, LeBron's hairline has never looked so defined as it has in next-gen NBA 2K14.
And those fans?
The fans look great.
Throw it down, big man.
Yes. Amazing
The
game.
soundtrack
I don't know where
is good.
Marissa's gonna go, but
Well, what? Really? You already know? Okay, we all know I'm picking Kingdom Rush. But I just want to say something about the whole basketball thing. I can't get into it. I just can't get into basketball. I
Not
love
a fan
sports.
of balls.
No. Really, Jose? It is inappropriate right now.
The ball physics.
Okay.
NBA Live had the ball physics.
She's a baseball
No,
fan.
I appreciate sports, but I just can't get into basketball for some reason. There's still the whole sweat and anxiety thing with baseball too, and I think that's why I'm drawn to it. But we don't need to get into the whole.
We don't get to see those players like this, though. This
true.
is amazing.
I did.
This is the
Name
this
a
is
hairline
ballet
in
of
baseball.
sports here.
The ballet of sports. I
Yes.
like that. No,
Yeah.
I dug the soundtrack though. And
Yeah.
I think LeBron picked that as well. So, but no, I'm picking Kingdom Rush all the way.
Wow.
and your partner in crime, Sean.
I feel like I've spent many man lives playing iOS games at this point, so it's nice to have a controller, and NBA 2K14 is just the most beautiful basketball game, one of the most beautiful sports games ever. When I was playing this game, I was thinking, man, there needs to be a hockey game on PS4 now because this thing is absolutely incredible. Like,
And that's the other thing about 2K14 too. It's the first one, and it looks so good already.
You love it.
and it feels like you're at the game.
Yeah.
We're pretty even here, Steve.
We are pretty even. I'm going to make it a little more even. I mean, I'm not a huge basketball fan. There are a handful of sports games I appreciate. Basketball is not one of them. And I am a tower defense junkie. And Frontiers just nails the tower defense formula. I love it. I mean, it's a familiar mechanic, but they add little things to it, like leveling up your hero and just like throwing guys in to block the monsters that are coming. I just love it's tower defense.
It's 3-3.
Awesomeness.
Raju, you're the tiebreaker.
Raju, you
Okay, you know what? Kingdom Rush Frontiers is a great game. However, NBA 2K14 has it for me. I actually thought this was kind of a weak year for iOS games. I didn't think that there was that much that really grabbed me, but NBA 2K14 gets it for me.
That moves on. Fantastic.
Thank God. Happy now, Vic?
Yes, I'm happy.
Up next, we've got two platform juggernauts. We're talking Rayman Legends versus Super Mario World 3D. Oh my God, this is such a tough choice for me. Steve, what are you going to go with?
Well, I love what Ubisoft does with Rayman. I love our little limbless
Rayman!
hero. Rayman, okay,
All right.
Rayman.
Wait, did I say Rayman? Did I say
confused
Rayman?
with the
Everybody
noodles.
says Rayman
The
here.
noodles.
Should I do that again?
Because I'm hungry.
No, it's okay.
Because I'm hungry. I love Rayman.
Rayman, yes.
Whatever his name is. No, I mean they've really got the platforming thing down cold. Beautiful game, one of the most beautiful games of the year. But come on, Mario, a 2D platformer in a 3D world. I mean, with it's so much fun. I don't like. See, I'm losing my words here.
I
Nintendo
know.
understands the alchemy, the science of fun better than anybody else, and Super Mario 3D World proves that definitively.
All right, let's go with Vic. What are you going to say here?
Yeah, I'm right there with Steve. Super Mario 3D World is unbelievable. You know, it's the diversity, it's the choices that you get to make as you're working your way through the game. I think Rayman Legends is a tour de force as well, but it's primarily an extension and expansion on what we got out of Origins. And 3D World has some familiar stuff in it, but there's just such choice. The fact that you can jump into one ice skate and start skating around, or you jump on a dragon and start power sliding through all of these waterfalls and stuff like that. It just constantly is giving you fun stuff to do, and both of them are terrific multiplayer games as well, but 3D World gets my choice for sure.
All right, Jose, what are you saying?
Well, as beautiful a game as Rayman is, and Ben and I both love that game as well. I mean, no arms, no legs, no chance against Mario.
That's why you're not getting into Rayman.
Yeah, Rayman. Yeah, no arms, no legs, no chance against the brand new Mario game. Finally, we get a new Mario experience that feels a little bit different than some of the stuff that they just rehashed, the new Super Mario Brothers stuff. And so it's good to see Mario back in full force, and I'm giving my nod to new Super Mario.
Plus, it's beautiful.
He is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Woohoo!
And-
Thank you so much for playing my game.
Scott, I know you're a big fan of cats, so I'm
There's a cat
thinking
suit.
you're going to go with Mario.
It's kind of a useless suit, though, when
It
you
is.
think about it.
No way, man.
Well,
I love
it's-
being the cat.
It's like-
I miss the
it's like-
cat.
no.
I miss when I take the cat suit goes away. I still try
This
to.
is not your time.
But I love the cat.
Go to sleep. I'm going with Rayman.
Wow.
Rayman.
Origins.
Legends.
Legends.
All right.
Someday I'll go to a pre-production meeting and I'll get all
man.
this right. I just love the artistic vision. vision. I love the little French touches. I feel like, I don't know, there's something just so dull about this Mario game. It just feels like paint by numbers. I don't see the vision. I know you guys are into it. I like... This feels like...
I hear Charlie Brown's parents talking right now.
Oh, my God.
Wow. No, I agree with Scott. I agree with Scott. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. First of all, I gave both of these games a 10 because they're both amazing to me. But Rayman Legends, I mean, how much... It's so special.
Yeah.
It's so... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
We're leaving it behind, guys, so just say something nice about it before
it's just, I feel like more people should play this game, more people should pick this game up. Not enough people are playing it, so...
And the best version is on the Wii U, too, which is kind of cool.
That's true. That's nice. You can play it. You can play it portably. The Vita version is wonderful. Yep. So I mean, I'm going with it. I guess we're all going Mario anyway. But
no, we
Legends.
Votes for Rayman.
It's 3-2 right now. Raju, you're tipping the table here.
Nintendo absolutely is becoming sort of a first-party developer, but Super Mario got me back in my Wii U.
Come on!
I hadn't used it for months. In all this next-gen craziness, I've been playing this game. Yes, there is some old hat in here, but Nintendo... they know fun, they know Mario. It's absolutely fabulous.
That they have a Mario and a Zelda that are both as good as they are.
I would like to see the team behind Rayman do a Mario game. I think that would be fantastic. But I'm going to go with Super Mario 3D World because this is an absolutely beautiful Mario game, and it's got all those familiar mechanics that you might remember from yesteryear. But there's a lot of new stuff in there as well. There's lots of great hidden parts of these stages where you can find these coins, those green coins. I went nuts trying to find all of them. And there's so much replay value just in that. And then when you add in additional players playing at the same time, it becomes a completely different game, but still a lot of So we're going to give it to Mario.
Jose, who goes forward?
Mario is the winner, obviously.
Let's hear it.
Mario wins. Woohoo!
All right.
Catsuit sucks.
No, it's great.
Yes,
all right.
terrible.
This is the portion in the show that we like to call Defend Your Game. These are games that didn't make it into our bracket. Jose, what's your game?
Well, for shame, a game that should be on this list is obviously Spelunky on the Vita. But if I had to pick a definitive game that should be on the list, it's probably the last WWE game we're going to see in the last generation of consoles. This game brought 30 years of WrestleMania history to culminate in this awesome package of video gaming, brother.
So,
Give me the Macho Man, yeah.
So we're just going to fade out on wrestling impressions.
I'm actually in the game.
Roll credits.
There's actually there's a shot.
No wonder you like this game.
They're talking about like Stone Cold versus The Rock, and they cut to The Rock when he comes in Sacramento, and there's me holding a sign that says Jose Sanchez right behind him. I got a picture of it. I'll put it in the thing. Put it in the package.
What? Yeah.
It's totally me. I'm in the game. It's actually me. Come on.
I don't think you can be on the show anymore, Jose. But enjoy your damn game.
All right. Well, we appreciate your crazy pick, and we love your passion, buddy. But listen, we've got everybody here on the team with one notable exception, Victor Lucas.
Yeah, Ben Silverman is at home. Hi, Ben. We love you, buddy. He is a new dad, and of course, he couldn't just up and leave his new son.
Up to here in P.
Raji did. I did 2 years ago.
You did, yeah.
Because Father of the Year.
Only terrible fathers would do that.
Anyway, Ben's a slacker.
Or slackers, yeah. No, but we miss him, and of course, he is here, in our hearts and our minds. Yeah, he's right there.
Love you, Benny. Now, listen, let's talk about what we're doing this year. Something a little bit different.
Absolutely.
We had a bracket. We had kind of a Sweet 16. We had 16 games. That has been pared down.
And then there were 8.
Significantly.
Yes.
So we're down to a couple more challenges here. We got a face-off for the ages. This is The Last of Us from Naughty Dog versus Victor's beloved Batman, Arkham Origins from Warner Brothers Montreal. Now, let's just get this out of the way right here.
This is the scene where Joel kills Batman.
Victor Lucas, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, listen, the Batman Arkham games are my favorite series on the previous generation of consoles, especially after Arkham Origins was such a tour de force in my mind. But The Last of Us was a brand new, beautiful experience that was really moving and really significant in terms of the visceral qualities of the experience. I hadn't seen anything or played anything like it, so it's The Last of Us.
And there's so much to this game, too. I know even when you finish Batman, and you still have only played like 60% of the game.
It's enormous.
So I cannot believe that this has happened.
No, it's The Last of Us. It's
Batman, according to Victor Lucas, is not moving on to the next round here. Let's move on to Sean Hatton. Sean, which way are you going to go on this one?
We've seen a lot of Batman games in recent years, and this year alone, Batman has been in Injustice. He was in the Scribblenauts DC game, and then we've got him in his own game, and then there's also the Vita version.
Is it
and the
too
3DS
much Batman?
version.
Why wasn't he in The Last of Us?
I don't know.
And then everybody would be happy, right?
But see, we only had 2 games this year that starred an Ellen Page-like character. And out of the 2, The Last of Us is the better Ellen Page-like game. So I'm going to go with The Last of Us. I'm always
Ellen
looking
Page
for...
is Robin!
Yes. I'm always looking for a new experience and new franchises, and I like that Naughty Dog went with a new franchise rather than bring out Uncharted 4, you know?
Yes.
That is kind of interesting that you say Ellen Page is Robin, because, I mean, Last of Us is kind of a Batman game. I mean, Joel is Batman. I mean, he skulks about, he sticks to the shadows, he takes people out stealthily, he's always outnumbered, he's always using his brain over his brawn. So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Marissa Roberto, which way are you going to go on this?
I love Batman. Of course, I love Batman, Vicky. You know I love Batman, but I need to go with The Last of Us because these relationships, my God, they just suck you right in, even right off the top. The relationship that Joel has with his daughter, and just, I don't want to reveal too much, but my God, just play this game because it'll just suck out your soul.
So 3 votes so far for The Last of Us, and we're at the tipping point here. Jose Sanchez, which way are you going to go?
Well, I didn't vote for Batman in the last round, and I did vote for The Last of Us. So if I had to choose between these 2, I would definitely say that The Last of Us is safe with my vote. I mean, it was just such an incredible game. Like, I couldn't believe how good it was, and it came out before E3, and a lot of those games can tend to get lost in the shuffle by the time we get all these new holiday releases, especially with new consoles. And there's not a lot of new console goodness in this top Elite 8 that we have, but The Last of Us is still one of the best games of the year.
You are so right. That's very bold on Sony's part. They knew that they had something special to release the game just before E3 this year in June. We all went to E3. We all looked at all the other games.
Came out that week.
This isn't as good as The Last of Us. I mean, that's what we were all thinking.
It's so true. It was just about to launch, and we were like, we almost wanted to give the game of E3 this year to The Last of Us again.
You said no.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
It's true. I put there was a Batman game there. I don't know if you saw.
Before we get to the rest of the superfluous votes here, which would be Steve and Raju, I love The Last of Us dearly. I had a really tough year, lots of ups and downs. I saw my therapist a lot, back on the medication. But you know what? This was the game that gave me hope for the future of video games, for the future of entertainment. I was so moved by this thing. The ending of this game is one of the best endings of any media that I consumed this entire year. TV, movie, anything. This thing competes. It stands up. It's tense. As soon as I finished the game, I couldn't play any other game. The Last of Us, for me, through and through. Raju, what are you going to do?
I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, the father-daughter story here was amazing. And, the fact that the guys who made Uncharted, probably one of the best funny games out there, went in such a dark and depressing.
So gutsy.
And, it's a tour de force. And, I think this is going to move on pretty well.
That's it for tour de force. No one is allowed to use tour de force.
Well, in this game it applies, though.
A Deathstroke-like beatdown. I think one more tour de force.
Next person who uses tour de force gets a punch de nuts. Your mustache.
Unless Marissa uses it.
Our mustaches.
Steve Tilley.
Warner Brothers Montreal was under a lot of pressure to pick up from where Rocksteady left off with the Arkham series, and they did a fantastic job. I think they erred on the side of maybe sticking too close to what had been done before, but I mean, they couldn't afford to alienate the fan base of the Arkham games, so they put out a solid Batman game. I still feel it was a little too similar to Arkham City. Then there's The Last of Us, and I cannot remember the last time I cried at a video game. I cried the scene before. I'm man enough. The scene before the credits roll. We know what happens. I think Foobs just spoiled it. Tears came out of my eyeballs. They came out of my eyeballs and rolled down my cheeks.
That's it with developers making games where daughters can't have any harm. If we can make that not happen anymore.
Narratively, you know where this game is going to go, and you don't, because everyone kept saying the ending is so moving. It's not what you think it is. It's something so different. You never see it coming. It's so sophisticated, and it's so mature. I cannot even believe that this game exists. I want to drop the mic, go home, and play this damn thing once again right now, and that only happens to the best of the best video games.
Well, we haven't seen the last of The Last of Us. It moves on. But right now we've got to do another very difficult head-to-head. This is Tearaway going up against Dead Rising 3. And they couldn't be 2 different games. Raju, how do they stack up in your heart?
Dead Rising 3 absolutely shows sort of the best of the Xbox One so far. And Tearaway is the Vita showcase right now. I don't know. It's funny. Like it's like Happy Joy on the Vita versus Killing of Zombies
with some happiness,
with some
glee and
with some
humor.
happiness. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Tearaway.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. I'm in the sun. Come on, that's great. I love that. So Tearaway for me.
Rob?
Yeah, Media Molecule, they just do something so right with bringing the cuteness with awesome gameplay, and they just suck you right in. And yeah, you see yourself in the game, which is cool. I mean, if you play it with lights, I was playing it in the dark. This dark shadow over the sun, and that was sad. But it was so fresh. It was so cute. And it's tough for a game development company to come out with a game that beats the game that just came out before this. So Little Big Planet was amazing for me, and I never thought that something would be better than that from Media Molecule, and I feel like they've done it.
Yeah, Steve, how about you?
No, I'm right there too. I think Dead Rising really improved upon the formula. The first two games had some problems that they weren't as accessible as they could have been, and I think Capcom Vancouver said, look, we can make it easier for the newcomers and still have the hard stuff for the hardcore players. Appreciate that. Amazing game, next-gen goodness, but Tearaway is something new, something a little bit risky. Media Molecule could have coasted on Little Big Planet for the next decade if they wanted to, but they brought this new IP and this amazing papercraft world, and it touched my heart. It made me feel good.
Yeah.
I felt good killing zombies too, don't get me wrong, but I felt really good playing Tearaway.
What about you, my friend?
I'm happy for all of you happy people over on the left side over here. I'm going to go with Dead Rising 3 all the way. I'm sorry, I'm rooting for Capcom Vancouver. I'm a huge fan of the Dead Rising franchise. I like the original game. Dead Rising 3 is one of those games where it's just like you're like just 100 more zombies, and then I'm going to go to bed, and then it becomes 1,000 more zombies, and then it's 10,000 more zombies, and you're not even really following the storyline. You're just exploring the world, the incredibly beautiful, detailed world that Capcom Vancouver built. And, they were also doing something kind of incredible because they were trying to get their tech up to snuff at a time when the Xbox One hadn't even really sorted itself out yet. Right. They didn't know what it was capable of. They had to kind of guess every step of the way. They were prepared for the challenge. These guys killed themselves. Again, I feel like I'm voting for the studio more than I'm voting for the game. Yeah. I love Dead Rising. I love killing zombies. I love Tearaway too, but Dead Rising 3 all the way.
Here's the thing when you talk about technology, and I think this applies to both of these games because you're constantly aware of them, but I think with Dead Rising 3, it kind of lives up to the imagination and the dream kind of state that you're in when you play Dead Rising 1 or 2. You think in your head that you're encountering as many zombies as you are. With this new technology, they can actually deliver on that. Tearaway, it's more than imagination. It actually throws in ideas that you hadn't even dared to have thoughts of. Feel like and also, Media Molecule matures as a studio when they build something like this.
Some of the functionality of the Vita feels a little bit ham-fisted in there. Just like, we better get some rear touch in there. We better use the camera. There's a camera on the front.
But the surprise of this game and the reveal of this game is something that the industry thrives on. We need these new concepts.
Once you see the sun is you?
Yeah. No, it keeps going, and the music. Well, what would you say, Jose? What do you think?
Well, I didn't pick Tearaway, and I did pick Dead Rising 3. So obviously, again, the choice I'm going with is a game that's not going to win. But Dead Rising 3, there is just something about creating a motorcycle mixed with a steamroller and driving down that one street at night where there's just 1,000 zombies and mowing through them with your flamethrowers on your, just smashing bloodshed everywhere. I've beaten this game twice.
Yes, I like this guy.
I've beaten this game 2 times already. Like, my character's maxed out. I don't even know why I'm leveling him up anymore. There's no more dots I can put any abilities into. I just love the fact that I can kill thousands and thousands of zombies. And I can yell at my Xbox, record that shit, because it was awesome.
Jose, we need you to see his therapist.
Yes. You know what? There weren't any funny games this year either. It was a very grim, dark year. Lots of depressing post-apocalyptic narratives. And even though that's filled with dead people, they're kind of fun dead people, Dead people are fun.
Sean?
As much as I like Media Molecule and I like that they're going for the magic and the love, I have to give this one to Capcom Vancouver and say Dead Rising 3 because Media Molecule, for me, they get close to being amazing and super magic, but they always fall short of my expectations. This one was great, not only in that it is a very good zombie game, but there's great social commentary in here as well, as far as not all of the enemies you come across are zombies. Sometimes it's the humans that are more terrifying than these actual monsters. One of my favorite movies is 28 Days Later, and I think this captures the vibe that movie also had of just helplessness, but also at the same time hope, where you can actually successfully overcome these guys. And there's lots of oh crap moments in this game, just like in that film. And I'm going to give it to Dead Rising 3.
You're so right. That's very interesting. That I do feel like Media Molecule, as much as they are visionaries and they accomplish so much of what they set out to do, Little Big Planet always kind of felt a little short to me. And this game too, Tearaway, as much as I liked it and admired it, I mostly admired it more than I enjoyed it. Dead Rising 3, I just flat out enjoyed.
Right. There's no barrier to having a fun time in Dead Rising 3.
So you changing your vote?
Nope. I'm still going with Tearaway.
Good try, though, guys.
Yeah. No, Tearaway wins. It moves forward. And congratulations to Media Molecule. Thank you for the surprises.
Now, we started with 16 games, but some games didn't make it into the top 16. Raju, what is your pick for a game that didn't get voted into the top 16?
Well, I think it's a bit of a weird pick, but I really love Saints Row 4. You know, it started off as sort of DLC for the last game, and one of the knocks is it is the same world, but you know what? This is probably the most fun open world superhero game I've played in a couple years. Right. I mean, it is pure fun.
It has that Crackdown sort of addiction,
doesn't it? Totally Crackdown. Yeah. You know what? What also took balls for this developer, this was a GTA clone where you don't have to drive a car in as soon as you get the powers. It's more fun to just run at super speed and jump around the world and fight the aliens. And there, again, is so much to do in these games. You can have sex with anybody. I mean, it is ridiculous. It is fun. It is, you know, often called a parody of video games, but it is a great video game.
One of my favorite things is the way it makes fun of Nolan North and how you can pick him as the voice of your guy in the game.
The gang from Steelport is now the president, but then, of course, as soon as they're running the country, aliens show up. Come on. There's tons of in-jokes, tons of humor. I just love this game.
Yeah, terrific game. Great choice, Raju. And listen, we've got a ridiculously difficult one to do right now. This is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds going up against Grand Theft Auto 5. Good luck, Marissa.
Oh my God. Okay, so I think everyone thinks I'm going to choose the cuter version. The cute game.
Trevor is cute, though.
But no, Trevor's not cute.
He is.
None of the characters in Grand Theft Auto 5 are good looking. I just want to say I was not attracted to any of them. But I'm still going to choose Grand Theft Auto 5 because it felt really good to be bad.
Yeah.
It felt really good to be bad, and I suppose I shouldn't say this, and I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching. I really enjoyed being bad in this game, and I don't know why, and I didn't go to all the places that were awful where you could have sex with people. I didn't do any of Raju did. I know Raju did.
And Saints Row 4.
I didn't do any of that. I stayed away from it, but I just really enjoyed just stealing cars and driving everywhere.
Even the torture scenes and stuff?
No, I didn't like those things. Okay, I'm trying to omit those things from my experience.
I'm talking about Zelda, of course. The torture scenes.
I did like the stripper game.
The
stripper game was kind of fun.
The strip clubs in Hyrule were awesome.
Jose, how about yourself, my friend?
Well, the strip clubs in Low Rule were even better than they were in Hyrule.
It does get a little skanky in there.
It's a rare occasion that we get a new GTA game. Yeah, they only come every few years. It's not something we get every year. So
they're already working on Grand Theft Auto 6
yeah, they say that Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to fit inside of a snow globe within the world of Grand Theft Auto 6.
That's depressing.
That's mind-boggling stuff to think about. But there's just something about this version of Zelda that takes me back to why I loved video games so much growing up and why I still love video games to this day. It's good to see Link back in that traditional world of Hyrule that we saw back in the day on the Super Nintendo, and I'm glad he's back, and that's why I'm giving him a vote.
Oh, wow, man. That's great. Okay, Sean, what do you say?
This, again, is a very tough one, and as much as I like The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, I have to say Grand Theft Auto 5 is the kind of game that I can go into if I only have a half hour and mess some shit up, have a good time, try to steal some helicopters. I love that there's just so much to do within this game. Yeah. And with Zelda, you're playing Zelda. So
it too
you're playing Zelda.
Well, it too is its own variation on an open world game. Of course, you're scrolling across screens, but there's a lot of sandbox type discovery in Zelda. Has been a part of that franchise almost from the very beginning. And I think that as much as they are different experiences, I don't think we would have a Grand Theft Auto if we didn't have the imagination of Zelda. And what's so beautiful about this new Zelda game is that it does strip it all away, and it does say, you know what, fun is the most important thing. And I think there are big chunks of Grand Theft Auto 5 where you are searching for fun.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the best open world experience that Rockstar put together in that previous generation was Red Dead Redemption, which really challenged our viewpoint and really made us care about somebody that had some virtue. And none of these characters in Grand Theft Auto 5 are worth our time.
But Franklin
we give them our time.
He totally is. Franklin's the best.
I mean, he is troubled for sure. You know, he is a victim of circumstance. But I think they did a better game with Red Dead. What do you think, my
Thanks
friend?
for calling on me.
All right.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There's two moments I want to talk about. I was driving recklessly one day. I ran over a fire hydrant in GTA 5.
Yes.
And a woman walking by turns her head and looks at me, and she stops and she puts her hands on her hips, then she keeps walking. What an amazing engineering feat.
Absolutely.
That everybody responds to everything you do in this game. There's also a great moment when you walk through a motion sensing light and it flicks on. Like all of that stuff. Who thinks of all of that stuff? But just like I think you put it so well, this is one of your most articulate moments on the show ever, and I've been working with you for decades now, right?
Every once in a while I wake up. The Great Bear wakes up.
Stripping Zelda down to its essence is absolutely the right way to go after years and years of layering on new technology, trying to go further, making the worlds more ridiculous, more ornate, adding Wii motion controls, which I had to suffer through to enjoy my beloved Skyward Sword. Paring it down to its absolute essence is the right thing, and it just reminds us why we love this game and this series so much.
Throne from Nintendo. This was Nintendo saying, "Oh yeah, take that."
Also,
and it's amazing.
I love how Rovio just moves into Link's house. He's like, "I'm just here. If you want to buy stuff, I'm setting up a shop in your house."
All right. So what do we have here so far? We have 3 votes for Zelda and 2 votes for Grand Theft Auto 5. Steve, my friend.
Well, I mean, I agree. Zelda is a great homage, a great throwback to the Zeldas of old. But I think we're getting a little too nostalgic. I mean, the game has got to stand on its own merits, which it does. It's a fantastic adventure. But we can't just say that it makes me feel so good because it's like the Zeldas I used to play when I was a kid. Well, not everybody played the Zeldas when they were kids.
So this is new to them.
So I mean, it's fantastic. Look, it
has 3D.
I hate that these two games are going up against one another because they're so different. But when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 5, I mean, Marissa's right. It feels bad to be good sometimes, and I disagree. I think
it's good to be bad.
It feels good to be bad sometimes. It feels bad to be good sometimes.
And that's kind of
good.
It's truthful for Grand Theft Auto 5, right? I mean, because of the success of that franchise, there's been lots of games where we play these terrible people, but you can make an exception to that feeling tired on this kind of stuff, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is that exception. It's so well made.
What I loved about this was the 3 characters, and actually, I played Michael and Franklin as generally good guys. I tried not to commit too much mayhem as those guys, but Trevor was my outlet. When I wanted to just screw around and kill stuff, I jumped into Trevor, and I felt like because that was Trevor's character, you know, he's an insane, psychopathic Canadian meth head. That was the guy I wanted to be when I wanted to just go mess stuff up. So I liked the 3 characters. I liked the intertwining of the stories, and the world just blows me away.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, Zelda, beautiful, close to my heart, but Grand Theft Auto is an undeniable achievement.
The tally is tied right now, so it's up to Raju right now to decide.
This is the moment.
Which one goes forward, my friend?
You know what? I think I have to go with Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, you know, I think that the nonlinear storytelling absolutely was something that was new and interesting, but I also think that the bigness of the world, the technical achievement, I agree with you, Vic, in that I hated these guys.
Yeah.
But
they become exhausting after a while, you know?
They do.
It's another cop
But
chase.
you know what? Now that the multiplayer is working, I have a crew. I'm doing heists with some buddies, and that is actually where I'm getting the most amount of joy out of this game right now. I do think that Rockstar, for what they do, they are artisans.
Yeah.
I do think that, you know, they are good at telling bad stories. I wish perhaps, you know, maybe they had some more hero worship, or they wanted to find some more virtuous heroes as well.
There are terrible people like this in the world.
There are. Oh, they are. Absolutely.
Well, and this also provides that outlet so that you can maybe not do terrible things. Right. You know, you can have this release and be this badass in this world and drop it when you turn the machine on.
And not be guilty about it later.
Yeah.
You know, this game is supposed to cost $260 million to make. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see all the stuff that you can do in this game.
What about the human beings who gave their lives in the name? I mean, you know, Rockstar has a reputation for killing people, literally. People are already dead, probably working on GTA 6.
At this stage, though, you don't sign up for that team or that company.
Like,
unless
here's my life force.
No, it's like going to war, I think, you know, in a lot of ways. Not that I don't want to make that analogy, but it's like you're providing. It's like you're providing service, you know? It's like you're going off and you're going to try to build massive entertainment. And there's something to be said about the value for this industry that the sales of Grand Theft Auto 5 really signify, you know? I mean, I think that there's a value in Zelda for us as already pre-built install-based fans, and that's why I think Zelda resonates the way it does, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is important for the future of our business.
Yeah, the fact that we can say a video game was the fastest-selling entertainment property in history.
That human beings have created.
Is a good
We'll
thing
be employed for another year.
Yeah. Exactly. So congratulations, Grand Theft Auto 5. You move forward.
Our next face-off is Super Mario 3D World against NBA 2K14. Now, Mario was in a very cool basketball game but not as cool as NBA 2K14. Vic, what are you going to go with?
This is definitely a Mario game for me. I mean, Mario gets this pick. As much as I'm playing and addicted to 2K14 on next gen, there is something irrefutably charming and addictive. That pull in this latest Mario title is unquantifiable. It's such a beautiful escape into a world that we desperately need in video games, and it's Nintendo firing on all cylinders again. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Marissa, how about you?
Well, as much as I love a sports game, moving on to this bracket, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't go with basketball, unfortunately, and I loved Mario so much. Sean and I gave it a 10 for a reason, because it's so fun to play. It's so fun. It's so light. It's fluffy because you're a cat. I mean, you're climbing up walls. Even the multiplayer is fun in this too. It's fun to compete with friends. If you have them, you can bring them on over and play this game. Well, I feel like I was competing a lot with this game too, and we were fighting.
Oh, for
playing
sure.
This game, yeah.
Scott, you did not go with Mario the last round.
I didn't go with NBA either.
Yeah, so
This
what are
is
you
the
going with here?
raspberries round for me. You know what? I'm disappointed that we're talking about another Mario game. We're talking about a sports sequel. How is this one of our final brackets? That kind of breaks my heart. Where's the originality?
Have you played these two games?
I have played both of these games.
They're both incredible
They are
games.
fine, but you know what? They are not.
What? They're not Grand Theft Auto 5, which is the 5th of the Grand Theft Auto games.
You told me, my therapist, I told her I wouldn't yell anymore.
Okay,
So I
good.
just
All right.
I crossed the line.
I'm his therapist.
You know, I guess Mario. I don't know. I guess of the two, that's the least offensive.
You can write that on your
Wow.
box,
I
Nintendo.
But
guess-
listen,
Yeah.
I want to see, The Last of Us spoiled me this year,
Right.
and it was so incredible and so mind-blowing and so boundary pushing. And, even GTA 5, I felt like had a lot more artistry. The social commentary, you've made this comment a couple times now, and you're absolutely right. So few games try to say anything about the actual world we live in.
Yeah.
Here are, two games. I mean, most of the NBA players are terrible people. Mario, there's a cat suit. Like, what is this? Like, this is a depressing bracket for me. But of the two games, Mario, I guess. Okay, move on.
All right, Raju, let's hear from you.
I kind of agree with Scott in the sense that it is bad that there's two sequels here. But you know what? I think Super Mario 3D Land is saving Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it is a great game.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it got me back to my Wii U. And it is a really, really fun game. I do agree that with NBA 2K14 showing off some of that next-gen goodness, and we need more of that.
Yeah.
But of the two, I've been enjoying Super Mario 3D World more.
Yeah, because they all kind of blur together.
All right, Jose?
Well, any game that can cause Derrick Rose to be injured and take him off of my bench just ruins. It takes away the nostalgia. I don't want to have to deal with that. It saddens me. No, but 2K14 looks fantastic. It's great as a next-gen launch title as well. But I mean, come on, it's Mario. It's a fresh feel for Mario. It's good to see him.
Is it fresh?
It's Powerhouse
It
Mario, though.
is.
It's not
This isn't cookie cutter, like,
and it's
oh,
not
this
the
isn't-
2D Mario, which I think
It's
is
not
a
a
little
sports Mario.
as fun as the 2D ones are. They're a little deflating
No,
because they
this-
feel
I mean,
like that's
this-
30 years of legacy.
I
This
have 800 one-ups right now.
Well, this isn't an especially difficult game, but holy crap, is it fun? It's so fun.
This game, it gives me hope, especially at a time when Zelda came out on the 3DS
Yes.
or 2DS, whatever the hell you're playing handheld on. That we see a brand new Link 3D world like that. Like, give me the old school style, but on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I love it on the handheld. I'd like to see them bring that.
And Zelda Wii is coming next year, so
And,
should be good.
Hopefully it's awesome and amazing, as good as the handheld one was. But I'm going to give my nod to Mario because I don't like LeBron
NBA,
James and his
any-
hairline.
Votes?
Nope, no
No
votes.
votes for NBA. The guy who looks most like a basketball player on this panel is up next. It's Steve Tilley.
Well, of course, I'm going to be the dissenting vote. No, I'm not. I mean, I love the fact that NBA 2K14 is the game that when you're playing it and somebody walks in the room, they're like, "Oh, what game is on? Who's playing?" It looks like a live telecast of a basketball game. I think the next gen consoles need that because moving to the next generation, I don't think we saw the leap in graphic fidelity that we saw from the PS2 to the PS3
Right.
or the Xbox 360. So we need games like this that kind of justify all that hardware in the next gen machines, but as a game, as a source of fun.
2K justifies the hardware. Not even.
I think it uses the hardware well.
it's a
It's a
storytelling.
showcase
It
for
looks
hardware.
marginally better
No,
than
it's-
the previous
No, it
gen
doesn't.
version.
Because
Yes,
when you get
marginally.
to the faces, when you get to the people, and
Exactly.
You don't play that
athletes,
way, though. You pull out
No,
through
you
the
do.
whole game.
You do, and this is what the next level of sports game is going to be about. It's going to be about introducing these people as characters that we get to know. And this is the first kind of step in that direction. And it's a real.
Pretty soon they'll be sharing their salaries. Awesome.
I mean, the whole My Career mode in NBA 2K14 is ridiculous. It's a full-on RPG that really sinks you into the experience of being one of these players.
What did I do?
It's like Fight Night Champion.
You're hitting me in the head with words. I don't want it anymore.
It's like Fight Night Champion.
No, it's not. That's an interesting, good game.
Well, because you like boxing.
I understand why you're down the Mario thing, but I just feel like Super Mario 3D World was you enter each world you enter is offering something new, and it's like a machine that spits out a new toy every 20 minutes, and the toy is different from the last toy, and it's awesome to play with.
Cat soup.
It's just
go to sleep. Holidays. Holiday blow dart.
I was feeling bad for Nintendo going into this holiday season with Sony coming out with the PS4, Xbox with the Xbox One, thinking, my God,
really?
yes, the Wii U is going to be dead. And then this game comes out, and it's all of a sudden, Wii U has a lot of life left in it. For me, Mario has always been a holiday game. You know, I would get a Nintendo system for Christmas, and I would play the hell out of a Mario game, whatever Mario game came with it. And we haven't had that in a few years.
Totally.
The Wii didn't have that. The GameCube didn't have that off the top. And now it feels like the Wii U finally has its proper Mario game.
It's Christmas.
And it is totally Christmas. I am a kid again. I am the kid who's like, Nintendo 64!
Don't feel bad for
that
Nintendo
guy
anymore.
is...
Don't feel bad. They're okay. They'll be fine.
I will no longer feel bad about Nintendo, especially since they are going on to the next round in the Rocket and Rayguns. Congratulations, Super Mario 3D World.
Woohoo. We're picking titles individually that did not make it into the Sweet 16. Next up is Steve Tilley. What game you got for us?
Well, I don't think we've had a lot of love for PC exclusives or a lot of love for indies in the Rocket and Rayguns, and my game is Papers, Please. This is an indie game that Rags and I looked at. We try to explain it to somebody. You say it's a game about being an immigration border officer.
Sounds terrible.
Looking at people's papers.
About all that,
right? It's the kind of game that sounds absolutely terrible on paper, but it's about analyzing data that's thrown at you. It's about making moral choices. People are desperately want to get into the country, and you are the last line of defense. So if their passport's not in order, do you say yes, they can go in, and then have your pay docked, and you can't buy medicine for your kid, or do you shut them out and possibly lead to their own?
It's awesome. Great 80s vibe to it as well.
It's super lo-fi,
sounds
super
like
retro.
The dumbest premise for a game ever, but it's just done so extremely well. It actually is a game that everybody should check out.
The indie stuff has just been phenomenal.
I'll tell you guys what it sounds like. It sounds like a mini game in GTA 5.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Like it does.
Now you're the border guard. Okay.
You know what? It's actually worth checking out, though.
There's so much more to this game than meets the eye. I mean, at first it's just like, oh, do I stamp his passport, yes or no? But then it gets into, there's a backstory, there's shadowy figures, there's conspiracies, there's a totalitarian government, and all the while, you've got more and more stuff thrown at you that you've got to deal with.
Fascinating choice, and we're going to have more fascinating choices. It is our Final Four showdown. Jim, what's on the bracket today?
Well, thanks, Curb, for throwing to me. I called you Curb, and I don't know why.
Curb Street.
Yeah,
no,
it is our Herb Street.
It is our Rocket and Raygun Final Four countdown. This is where we go all out. I hope you've been watching all week long, because a lot of great games have been destroyed along the way.
This is when the guys with the big kettle drums come in and
Yes.
It's unbelievable, baby.
I love it. All right, well, we've got Tearaway going up against The Last of Us. This is Sony against Sony. Marissa, which one's a better game here?
I love that noise. You make it before every choice.
These decisions are giving me indigestion. I'm getting.
So it was you who farted.
No, it wasn't me.
Somebody saw your skirt fly up.
Not me. Okay.
Blushing.
Instead of going with the cute and the sweet, I feel like I just have to go with the one that sucked my soul out so hard. Oh God, I'm gonna go with The Last of Us and get really depressed about it.
Yes.
And my decision.
Yes. All right, The Last of Us. We have one vote for The Last of Us. Jose Sanchez.
I'm gonna go for the game that sucked out my soul too.
Slowly.
Deadly Premonition, director's cut.
I don't want to die.
It's just not even fair. I mean, I know it's come down to these two games in a Final Four bracket.
Tearaway is kind of a little clicker in this sucker,
You know,
isn't
and
it?
good for Tearaway for making it to the Final Four. You know, they were the lowest seed. They came up to the brackets to face the #1 seed juggernaut Last of Us. But it's just so hard to pick between The Last of Us and anything else for me right now. I mean, The Last of Us was such an incredible experience from beginning to end. I can't even freaking wait to see how great the second to Last of Us, I guess they might call it. I don't know. But I mean, I'm looking forward to more of this franchise. It's great to see the beginning of something new, and I'm glad that we got to be a part of it.
More. That's enough. We don't need a
I want more.
No,
Well, just the idea that
I got more soul to suck out.
that this is a franchise is a pretty radical idea. Sean, who are you picking here?
I'm going with The Last of Us. I enjoy that this game is so bleak, but there's that little bit of hope that you can make it out of this thing. And in a way, there's some allegory to real life going on. You know, our lives are not nearly as terrible as
well, not yet.
No, not yet.
The viral outbreak hasn't.
But we can see that this is a potential end of humanity situation. That if asteroids don't get us, this is something that could very well happen.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy. Enjoy your family and your turkey dinner, because it could be your last one.
All right, so we have 3 Last of Us votes. I would be shocked if you picked Tearaway.
Well, no, listen to me. You know, when we talk about movies, sometimes we'll go to see a horror movie, we'll see an action movie, and a movie, if it's a great movie, it's not a great genre movie, it's just a great movie. And I feel like this game is more than a game. It transcends the medium. It's just a great, flat-out entertainment. I mean, the learning curve for people, that's the unfortunate thing, is that I think the barrier for entry is too high for a lot of people. I wish that more people were able to have access to this and play it.
That's a wider industry kind of scope.
I know, because people are still trying to figure out how to use a 16-button controller.
People are like trying to surf through the Xbox One menu or now the Wii U menu. You know,
put in the time. You're right. If you put in the time and you devote yourself to this, even if you've never played a video game before, this game pays off dividends like you wouldn't believe. Everything that this game did was just smart and crafted and beautiful. Every step of the way, every choice just considered. I love this game.
Absolutely.
Mature,
Yes, Raju.
It's sort of unfair. It's new IP versus new IP.
Yeah.
And Tearaway did do a lot of really interesting things, but come on, in this sort of bracket thing, they're the miracle kid that's got this far, right? So it's The Last of Us. The Last of Us was such a great experience. Again, you know, I keep pointing back that it was a father-daughter story that really, really spoke to me, and the ending held no bars. I mean, it was absolutely fabulous.
It is peerless.
I have to call out Sony on this, though. This is incredible that we're talking about these 2 games in this category at our final show for Best of Year. These are 2 very difficult games to greenlight, both of them. And they both feel like indie games. They both feel like they came from the heart, and they were just genuine, dreams of developers that really wanted to aspire for more. And Sony backed them, and they become 2 of the most important games of 2013.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Yeah. And you know what? It reminds me of the movies during the Miramax era when we started getting these AAA indie films, and that's what this feels like because it doesn't feel as sort of. It's not like we're slumming it with like just the indie stuff with the bare bones Thomas Was Alone type graphics. These are full-on productions, but they have like an undercurrent of humanity and pluck and spirit.
Like it came from marketing departments.
No. Yes, that's it.
That's
right. Steve, you choosing The Last of Us as well?
No, Tearaway is my game of the no. I feel great Tearaway has made it this far.
Yeah.
And I do think that this is one of the few games that justifies some of the features on the Vita. It's probably one of the best exclusive Vita titles. But come on, The Last of Us, that game has flaws. It didn't think too far outside of the box in terms of its gameplay.
The flaws are that it sticks to game conventions.
Exactly. And so it's the stealth we've seen before. It's the post-apocalyptic world that we've kind of seen before. It doesn't use the move controller. Come on. But I mean, the relationship between Joel and Ellie is just something we haven't seen. I don't know, the last one saw a relationship like that. And the game world, as bleak and horrible as it was, I wanted to keep on playing to see what was around the next corner. What tableau of humanity's demise was around the next corner.
To make one character love another character in a video game is still something we're so new at. We haven't even, no one even tries to do that.
There is a lot of characters that love each other.
There's lots of love in this game.
Yes.
And it never stops. I mean, that is the differential right there.
Well, and there's lots of love for this game. The Last of Us moves on. Congratulations. And now it is our final 2 head-to-head before we go to the Game of the Year choice. Now it is Super Mario 3D World going up against Grand Theft Auto 5. Jose, you pick one for me, would you, buddy?
No. I don't want to. This isn't even fair. This is like, really? Come on, guys. Both games, obviously, huge franchises. Mario, you got GTA. Tour de forces, you might say. But, there's just something special about Mario. I grew up on Mario. It was my first first Nintendo. Me and Mario together in the sewers with his brother, beating up turtles. And now he's back, still beating up them damn turtles. Now he's got different suits on, which is classy because sometimes you got to put a suit on. Classes join up. But as amazing everything that GTA was and everything that it did, I'm just gonna go with nostalgia. tugging on the old heartstrings, going with Mario.
Wow, 3D World. One vote for 3D World. Sean, what would you say, my friend?
I also say 3D World because, as I said in the previous round,
Grand Theft Auto 5 an 11 out of 10.
I did.
Clarify.
I played Grand Theft Auto 5 at a very dark point in my life. A lot of crazy stuff was going on. And I feel like Scott kind of confiding in everyone that this game pulled me out of that funk and made me feel like a better person after. So I perhaps was a little generous with the 11 out of 10. I still think it was the right score to give for the time. But Mario holds a very special place in my heart. Mario is the essence of video games for me and for a lot of other people out there. And it's interesting to see that no matter what Nintendo does with Mario, it always works. And that magic is still there. And so many developers fail to see that and capture it. There's so many Mario-type clones. People try to emulate Mario on the iOS platform and fall short so many times. And there is no replacing Mario. He is a gaming icon. And there's a reason why, because Nintendo keeps knocking it out of the park with this guy.
No replacing Mario. Does he get your vote as well, Marissa?
Yeah, he's going to have to get my vote on this one, even though I gave both of these games a 10, because number one, he has an amazing mustache.
Woohoo! That's why she likes working
great
with me.
Right.
mustache.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my paisan, and I feel like I need to just give it to him too, because I'm going to go with Jose as well. This is a big nostalgic game for me. Just growing up, this is what pulled me into video games. So Mario's going to take the cake for me with this one for that reason. That's how it gets the edge here.
Raju, which one are you choosing?
You know, this is a hard choice, but I'm going to go with GTA 5. I think there is a bit of a sort of joy versus darkness, but I still think that the technical achievement, the amount of stuff in it, even though I'm a little worn with what Rockstar is doing with these games, they are pushing games forward. Yes. They are pushing the tech forward. I love tennis games. The tennis game in this was something that I sort of got obsessed with for a little while.
And it's surprisingly good.
It's really good. Other people would have packaged that as a separate game.
Sega would have done that.
This is just, one of the hundreds of things you can do in this game. Yes, I think that the heroes are jerks.
Yes.
And I do feel like I hate myself. Trevor, everybody loved him. Yeah, I don't know. But, I tried to play Franklin and Michael as sort of normal guys. And, I did feel bad for Michael, in particular with his family.
Yes.
So, but, even the social commentary as well, these are all things that Rockstar, they put so much stuff into this game. And for that reason.
You know what? And the industry should take note about these two games, and The Last of Us for that matter, and Tearaway for that matter. They all have so much, they have so much content complete on the full price of the package. Yeah. Maybe there will be DLC and more stuff to buy, but you certainly don't feel for the full price that you pay for any one of these games like you're not getting your money's worth. You're getting way more than your money's worth, especially with Mario and Grand Theft Auto 5. Which one are you choosing, Scott?
Kingdom Rush Frontiers all the way.
Yeah, you haven't been paying attention.
I like what Sean said earlier about Mario taking him out of a dark time. We're real people, right? Like we just let our
we
personal
play how we feel them.
Our personal inner lights like ET shine on the show, and we just let it out. I guess Mario. I don't know. I guess so.
Out of Grand Theft Auto.
I just want to. I guess so. I mean, I can't just praise it because it's an engineering feat, and I guess
Mario's
Mario.
winning this one. I think so, right, Steve?
It's the mustache.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where we're at.
We have 4-3. You won.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't feel quite so bad then throwing in behind GTA 5. I mean, I agree with you guys. Mario is the essence of fun. It's back to what we love about this franchise and this character, but I just feel like there's so much meat in Grand Theft Auto 5. There's story, there's a world, there's these intricate mechanics that I can't believe were possible on the last generation of consoles.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is a better game, and it's a more important game, and it deserved to win in this two categories. It didn't.
Not on this show.
I think that Mario is a fantastic achievement, but it's an achievement that, once again, you can dream Nintendo will deliver what they do, and they exactly deliver that. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 was the best of the Grand Theft Auto games, and there's some familiar territory there, but it was also so much better than anything we could have ever imagined. Even the difference between Red Dead Redemption, technically, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is staggering. And if you look at Grand Theft Auto 5 on 360 or PS3 compared to any of the next-gen launch titles, it's a better game. It's just a richer, fuller, more detail-oriented game that looks...
it is the end of the 360 and PS3 life cycle. So when we're talking about the end of... When we're talking about GTA 7, when it's the last game on the One or the PS4, we're going to be like, oh my God.
But what an end, right? I mean, that's an incredible thing. But our two head-to-head finalists are Super Mario 3D World going up against The Last of Us.
Holy shit!
Raju, how are you going to size this one up, my friend?
I think I'm going to go with the new. I'm going to go with The Last of Us. The game, it was too much of a game at times, but you know what? I think it exceeded in so many other ways in terms of the story, in terms of the emotion, and this is a game that is going to stay with me for a long, long time.
Yeah, the moments that were real felt so real, and that's what made this game so beautiful. So I'm definitely choosing The Last of Us as well. I feel like I appreciated my family so much more after playing this game, and that's really heavy. That's a heavy thing to do in a video game.
I called my old cousins I haven't talked to in years. I'm so sorry we haven't talked.
Remember
in case of apocalypse
LA Noire when we were talking about the facial technology and all that stuff? No one was even having that conversation with The Last of Us because we were invested in these damn characters. Nobody, I mean, the game looked like crap at certain junctures. It had trouble running on the PS3. Nobody talked about its shortcomings. And Raju, I agree with you 100%. The only fault is really that it has one foot firmly planted too much in the gaming world. That's why I resent the multiplayer. I know I sound crazy, but I feel like let's not have multiplayer. Let's just dedicate every bit of energy we have on this team to making the single player as awesome as possible. Turning it into a multiplayer melee just cheapens what's there on the disc, and I feel like we need to get away from the gaminess of all this stuff. Games need to keep growing up, and they need to aspire to what The Last of Us has done. Absolutely. I sound like a church preacher right now.
You do.
Amen, everybody.
Very Obama-like. Okay, that's 3 votes for The Last of Us. Steve?
You know, Scott, you're right. We should not be shoehorning multiplayer experiences into single-player games, but the multiplayer in The Last of Us is great. It's the only multiplayer thing I played this year. It's
Naughty
stealthy,
Dog don't play that,
it's
right?
tense, it's fantastic. But Naughty Dog could have, I mean, we know they're making the next Uncharted. We know they're making Uncharted 4. They could have just locked everybody into the Uncharted series and made tons of bank, but they said, let's take a risk. Let's do something a little more slow-paced, a little more story-based. And as much as Mario brings that to the table, I just don't feel the same way.
Every other game in the wake of The Last of Us just felt small and lacking.
I agree.
One of the things that I think The Last of Us handles masterfully is that you actually feel the weight of the violence in the game. I think that every bullet in that game really counted.
Mostly, I think you make too much of that.
Well, the only thing that sort of lifts it away from that is the amount of it. You know, we get so much violence in it.
So you become...
Yes, you become desensitized to its own peerless ability to create this sense of terror. But it's a beautiful game, and I think it is absolutely, like Grand Theft Auto 5, a game that this industry needs to push us forward. Now, Mario is too, but Mario, I think, kind of works as a bit of a nostalgia experience that you can share. You can connect it to your past, and you can connect it to the roots of this business, but I think The Last of Us is the better game, and it should be our game of the year. What do you say?
Well, I think this is about as tough a face-off as Nicolas Cage versus John Travolta. You know, this is just difficult now. It doesn't matter what game goes against The Last of Us this year. It's I've been saying it since the beginning of E3. This is going to be the best looking game I saw there. It's still the best looking game I've played this year. The Last of Us is an incredible... I think it's because of Scott Jones' terrible score for Uncharted 3 that they had to stop making those games and make a different game. Well, they're like, whoa, let's take a step back, hold off on a new Uncharted, let's put out some other game. And they gave us an incredible...
Make Scott happy with this one.
Hopefully it'll get Game of the Year instead of a 6.5. And sure enough, look what they've done. Thank you, Scott.
So far, unanimous for The Last of Us. Sean?
Every so often, there's a game that introduces us to a world that just feels so real and
a 3D world?
Well, yes, but in The Last of Us, it was a similar feeling to when I played Half-Life 2 for the first time. And this world felt so severe and harsh. And just playing through this, the relationships in The Last of Us also feel so real. I haven't seen a great game relationship since defeating Street Fighter 2 with Blanca, and he reunites with his mom. That's a tender moment for me.
So touching.
Right? And The Last of Us came close to that. No, The Last of Us blew that away, and I think really deserves to be Game of the Year and defeat Super Mario 3D World.
Well, you know what? The Last of Us is
it's a wipeout.
Our 2013 Game of the Year. It's a unanimous choice. It went up against some pretty stiff competition. Congratulations to everybody that was in, or every game that was in our bracket. All of those games are worth adding to your library.
All you other losers.
But The Last of Us definitely wins the prize. Naughty Dog, congratulations. We love you guys.
We have chosen our Game of the Year, but there were some games that were not in the Sweet 16, and Sean Hatton has one that he wants to recommend to everybody out there. Sean, what do you got?
I do, and it's something that we've had on the show very recently. It is Killer Instinct for Xbox One. This is the game that I keep going going to again and again. Every time I turn on my Xbox One, I play at least half an hour. This is not an April Fool's joke. This is a combo breaker! Exactly. I played the original in the arcade a little too much. I skipped school to go play this game in the arcade, and I became very good at the original.
And successful. Look at you now.
Look at me now.
Well dressed.
I didn't need grade 11 English or grade 11 mathematics, but I did need Killer Instinct. That for me sparked this ongoing love for the fighting game genre. I love what Street Fighter 4 had done to the genre a few years ago. It sort of reinvigorated it. We were seeing a lot more quality fighting games. And Killer Instinct, I was worried about this coming into it because I love the original so much. And they have just raised the bar considerably.
Have they?
They have. There is so much. Listen, Scott, you're not a fighting game guy.
I am a fighting game guy.
It's a great choice and a great way to wrap things off.
Terrible choice.
Well, surprising one. We like surprises. I loved having everybody here for this brand new take on the Rocket Raygun.
Say something nice about all of us.
I love all of you guys. We missed you, Ben Silverman. Congratulations to the winners, and I hope we made you happy with our top 100s. We are going to be showing some more of the top 100 stuff in 2014, so keep your eyes out for that. And we start our brand new time slot when we come back after the holiday break. Watch us every night on City after Jimmy Kimmel Live. Thank you, everybody, for your support in 2013. We will see you in 2014. Congratulations, The Last of Us, Naughty Dog.
We all saw that coming.
Yeah.
There was no
well,
great
it's in our
shocker
top 100.
there. We had to pretend that the other games were kind of in the running for a while, And
it's the only game
they weren't really.
It's the only game in the whole brackets there that was in our top 100, so it had to be the winner.
It was leagues above everything else, and everything else there were some good games in there, but The Last of Us is its own thing.
It's its own thing, and it sort of takes the best of all of the other things. It takes so much that's familiar, and it puts in so many cool undercurrents and so much great storytelling that it really elevated. It's and this is another reason why I get pissed off when people belittle our business or belittle the game space, or try to attack it or marginalize it. It drives me insane because games like this deserve to be up on pedestals. They deserve as much fanfare as The Wolf of Wall Street coming out from Martin Scorsese, Like, this is a big, important entertainment property. And Grand Theft Auto 5 gets all the noise. It's an incredible game, deserves every one of its sales, but it's kind of a proven entity by this point. It's kind of just, it's definitely a technical marvel and a complete showpiece for what's possible in our games industry, but it's also kind of a, it's going to be what it is.
Well, once something has been around for 5 iterations, there's something self-congratulatory about it.
Totally.
And when you're The Last of Us, there's a humbleness, there's a curiousness. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. They don't know if people are going to like this or enjoy this or have a good time or have a bad time or get too depressed. But you know what? They had a singular vision. They stuck by it. And again, just like I said, I don't know if they edited it out of the podcast, but I want to live in the world where The Last of Us is the best-selling game of the year and not Grand Theft Auto 5.
Best-selling entertainment property of the year.
I want that.
I mean, we were just talking about the movies, you and I, just before we started rolling, and 2013 was not a great year for movies.
It was dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, there were some definite fun escapes.
There were no bright spots. There were some spots that weren't as dull as the other spots.
Yeah, there was no Looper, and there was no Avengers.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, that was a great way to end it.
So that's it. We're all done. So your house on New Year's Eve? Come on over.
Come on over, everybody. It's going to be a party.
Ruby will probably stay up later than I will.
Yeah. She'll be... We'll be in bed at 10, and she'll be running around banging pots and pans.
I'll be nodding off with frosting all over me.
We have to thank everybody for listening and supporting and for telling 2 friends, and then they told 2 friends about Vic's Basement. We've gained a lot of listeners over the year, and we're very, very happy.
We won a lot of awards this year for having the best podcasts. We didn't win any awards.
No.
We really should have.
Did your mom give us an award?
This is a quality show.
Yeah.
God damn it, we need more people in 2014.
How do we get an award?
Show.
What do we got to do?
I don't know.
No, but we also have to thank Sony as well for their incredible support of Vic's Basement and the PlayStation 4, which has been obviously a huge success for them. And congratulations to Sony, and thank you. I'm psyched to take a break, but I'm also psyched to come back and get into a brand new year with lots and lots of cool stuff to talk about in 2014.
Listen to me. Before we go, I just want to end on a human moment.
Okay.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too, pal.
As much as we fight and argue, and you made me so mad about the Man of Steel this year, I nearly had 6 strokes. At the end of the day, when I go home, I go to bed at night, I'm not mad at you anymore.
Oh, that's nice.
Next morning, I wake up mad.
It's not good to go to bed mad.
No, that's what they say. That's why
right.
our marriage works.
That's right.
I love it.
All right, Stitcher. Made
Stitcher,
it weird
folks.
at the end, Scott. Thank you. We'll see you in 2014.
I made it human at the end. Come on.